Hi everyone. I've entitled this devotion today, Fault Finding or Forgiveness Finding. It's based on Proverbs 17 verse 9, which says, "Love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends." Someone has stated this, that when it comes to finding fault, we're fonder of windows than mirrors. We've all many faults, and I guess we all hope that people will find a way of getting beyond any of our faults so that they can like us and relate to us. Yet I wonder how many times we've noticed the same repeated fault in someone else's life and not been able to move beyond that. Fault finding is such a relationship breaker, and yet forgiveness finding is such a relationship builder. Are we so busy finding faults that we are blindsided to sort out the areas of weakness in our own lives? There are no rewards, for being an expert fault finder, because it's so easy. It's so easy to find faults with others. In fact, the consequence of being that expert fault finder can be a trail littered with broken relationships. At best, we will have superficial or distant connections with people, because when we get too close, the glaring faults of others will blind us to the wonderful joy of building loving connectivity with the rest of the human race. Maybe there's someone listening to this devotion today, and you are on the brink of forfeiting a very special, cherished friendship that's long-standing, but a fault line has grown wider, separating you into an entrenched position, and a chasm has grown that seems unbridgeable. And no matter how wide or how deep the fault line has become, or how wounded you feel you are at this present time, you need to exchange your fault finding stance for a fault forgiving perspective. Don't throw away all the positives of that relationship into that chasm of the fault line. Put the friendship before the fault line that is now separating you. Take the initiative of forgiveness. The more you dwell on the thought of that fault, the bigger that fault will just keep growing in your own heart and in your own mind. Keep short accounts with others, because that prevents the fault lines from happening. We often fault find before we fact find. Actually, we start to talk and listen. We discover some facts that help us to close the gaps on those fault lines. I think the segregation of the past few years have caused us to be more proficient fault finders and less proficient fault forgivers. We've lost some of the interpersonal grace skills that we used to possess through our faith in the outworking of community. Can we step back today and ask God afresh to renew us with his love and grace for others? Don't dwell on the fault line. Dwell at the cross, where Jesus cried out, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do."